Introducing the Hermits of Hermits, Rowan Jakeman. Next up, we have Ron Burgundy / Salty Steakman.
I thought you wanted to be called Ron Weasley, huh?
No ringer. Well, here we are back at episode 2. Got a successful first episode. How many views we got? 26?
26. 12 of them are for me, for sure.
It's good to know there's losers out there like ourselves.
We're no short supply.
We're not losers, we are Daoist Hermits, and we are starting to unite.
We are. I like that.
So, what did you want to talk about today?
What did you want to talk about? I'm pretty sure at the end of the last episode you left what we were going to talk about, but I can't remember what it was.
We're going to talk about the value of destiny and purpose, how to feel better in this crazy society, and that's probably enough to stem off from there.
So, what is the thing that is most going on in the back of your mind all throughout the day? So it's always there in the back of your awareness, but it's never quite fully like you're consciously thinking about it, but it bugs you. What is that?
Other than sex?
Yeah.
What is in the back of my awareness is wanting to get into the mystical. It's always that deep down desire to get into the mystical. And how am I going to get there? When's it going to happen?
And when you say getting into the mystical, what is that experience? What is that experience?
Yes, I don't mean the mystical as in the connotation you often hear in society, which might be like religious or whatever it is. It's probably different for everyone. What I mean by mystical is where life feels exciting, life feels spontaneous, and not ordinary in the sense that things aren't predictable, and that mostly you feel like you're growing. Expansion, lots of words to describe that.
Yeah. And has there been like a time period in your life when you felt that, or like a particular moment where you felt that? Do you have a reference point for it, or do you not know what it is yet?
Yeah, drugs.
Yeah.
But not just drugs. I think there's many access points, and obviously you have it a lot as a kid naturally. When you got that free flowing energy in you, because you haven't been conditioned by society yet, you haven't had all that trauma, you haven't not had all those people say no to you yet and kill your dreams, you haven't been told you need to act in a certain way, so it's childhood, but then even as an adult you still get that. I still get that through socialising with high energy people, or people that are conscious that life's short and they want to have fun, so you make the most of things. What about you?
To me, like, what is mystical to me? Or yeah, the mystical to me, it's the same thing for me. I think what is always on the back of my awareness every day, and to me, I've had reference points for it, so I know what it is. That's why it can be frustrating. And I know to get there it takes a lot of effort to live that experience. To me, what it is I don't know. Yeah, you're not controlled by your mind. That's what it is. You're not controlled by your mind. I'm not saying you can necessarily even see what the mind is in its totality, but you can see that it's controlling you. And then when you're outside that, you're free. maybe you're not totally free, but you've at least achieved some level of freedom. And it's not just not caring what other people think. Like I've had those experiences when I get drunk, for example. But it's also like, oh, okay, I'm literally, my awareness is being guided by this like intellect, and it's like eating me. So when you're outside that's mystical.
Yeah, shit. So when your mind stops basically for whatever reason, that's when you feel you're in mystical. That's what you want. That's when all the good things start to happen.
Yeah, no, well, actually, not even when it stops. I don't even know if I've ever experienced my mind stop. Maybe like once, but like just, it's not controlling me. Like I can see it. I can see it. Just even seeing it is enough, because then, of course, if you can see what it's doing to you, why would you choose to let it keep doing that to you? It would change. Are you getting a second-hand transmission of this shittiness? Is that why you said that?
Less shittiness now. So you can see when the mind's doing this to you, but sometimes you can't. Why do you think you can't see it, or you let your mind run the show? Why do you think that is? That you even know it's bad when you let the mind run the show, but you still let it do oftentimes?
I think, well, it's going back to what you're saying when you were kids. I don't think it did when you were like real little, but then indoctrination started. So I think it's just the programming is run so deep, and the intellectualism is running so deep in our mind that it's our default setting when we wake up. So when we wake up, that's it. So it's not like we have to do anything consciously wrong, or we choose, or I choose to think, because I'm speaking about me, that's to like let my mind being controlled by it. It's just like, it just happens because it's the default. So you got to work really hard to not let it happen.
Yeah, I was thinking perhaps we unconsciously assign value to the mind, because that's what we're grown up in a society that values that intellect and always be able to control the outcome. We always think we can control the outcome, and that's the aim. So even though when we realise that, okay, we see the fallacy in that, there's still a lot of parts of us that still want the mind. So I think it's, want the mind to do its thing. So it's about integrating those unconscious parts of us that on some level want that with what we actually want, and what we actually want is what our awareness wants, because that's what we really are. We're our awareness.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's funny because it leads into a funny story. I won't mention the specifics of it, but basically, reading this Zen book, Cooker, and he's talking about how the mind's always controlling you, and it's like you can never trust it, it's fooling you. So you kind of get a transmission of it, but you don't fully get it. And one day I fully got it. Something was happening to me, and I didn't like it the first time it happened to me.
By job or?
No. No. And then the specifics of it, yeah, it doesn't matter. And then it happened, I let it happen to me again. And then usually maybe I'd be like just wrapped up in the whole like, oh, I feel bad, and like guilt or shame or whatever it is. Like, but then I was like, because I was in this process of challenging myself, like actually thinking, not just letting like the thoughts take you somewhere, but thinking, why is this happening? I was like, why did I let this happen? And I just let my mind go blank, and just, instead of thinking, just let what came in. And then it was like, because I wanted it to happen. I know that sounds so simple, but it was like, the fact that I would have wanted that to happen to me, I would have never ever considered that a possibility ever, because it's just not something I would want to happen to me. But the fact that, but I just knew it was truth. As soon as I thought, I was like, oh, that is truth. I wanted it to happen to me, even though I would never wanted to. And because the mind controls us that much, it's really something that you can't talk about until you get an experience of something like it. So that was just one experience, isolated experience, where that happened to me. But I feel like that's happening all the time.
It's a bit confusing because we're using I want from two perspectives, and we're jumping back and forth. So which I?
Oh, the me, like the real authentic
the
me,
real you,
like
wanted it.
Didn't want that experience. But my mind wanted the experience to happen, so it could keep like basically fuck with my reality. I know that sounds like, oh, that's like placing blame or not being responsible. It's like that's what it does. It sabotages you because we don't have an awareness of like what it is. We don't know what the mind is, so it fucks with us.
Yeah, because we can't. You talk about blame. We can't. We got to be careful not to externalize it, because we're still doing it on another level, which is what you're alluding to.
Yeah, it's like it's super complicated. Maybe someone, if the first time they hear this, it doesn't make any sense at all.
Yeah.
But it's like, the mind has got a thing, and all of our actions that we take in life, it's like how much of that is being controlled by this like rogue agent, i.e. our mind, which is like sabotaging us, doing all these different things, because maybe simply because it's like incapable of like, or maybe the mind needs a master, and when it doesn't have a master, then it's just like it goes crazy.
That makes sense. I mean, also we don't even know if the mind is an actual thing. Like in Western science or psychology, we say there's a mind when the people reduce that to the brain, the mind's the brain, or whatever else they reduce it to something concrete.
Yeah.
But we don't know. The mind could just be patterns from our past, just continuing on in a sort of kinetic fashion or in some sort of momentum. And then when we think there's a mind, then we think there's actually something that's going against us. But ultimately, our intuition says, and most people would realise at some level that ultimately you know what you're doing on one level, you just might not get that clarity very much. It might be like a flicker of a second with some people, or if some people have taken a drug, they might get it for a long time. Or maybe if they've done meditation or Tai Chi, maybe they've got other experiences.
Yeah, that's a large part of it. But I think Chinese medicine can answer that question to some degree because they see the mind as an interface. And then, like, one of the biggest tenets of like Qigong and Tai Chi is you start using you start paying attention to that interface, like basically just focus. And before that happens, you can't really do much. So it's like they see it as an interface, but you just got to train that interface. Whereas we don't even know it's an interface in the West, like you're saying. We don't even know we have to train it.
Yeah. Because initially we're using some intention or the mind in meditation, speaking really broadly across traditions. We're using that to come in touch with our awareness more. Our awareness being this all-encompassing thing with an intelligence we can't imagine, or our mind can't imagine.
Yeah.
So I guess that's the process of something like Tai Chi, is that as frustrating as it may be, you're initially using what you think, what you're trying to get beyond, to get beyond. So you may be becoming aware of your breath or your body or whatever it is, and then slowly you get in touch with that awareness more, and then slowly you can see what the mind's doing.
Yeah, I think it's a slow process. I think the thing is though, it can be tremendously quick if you have the capability to just get like laser focus very quickly.
Yeah.
But for some reason, it's like very hard to do that. Maybe because, I don't know, we just live in a place where we don't have to do that, so we've never even tried. But once you do get laser focus, it can happen instantly.
Yeah, and I'm thinking from that, there's probably some functional value in terms of evolution, and not just strictly a biological evolution, of not being completely in awareness all the time. If you imagine a hunter-gatherer tribe, it's a natural thing where you sit on top of a mountain after you've done your hunting or whatever, and you look out and suddenly 8 hours have passed. That's a natural, like, real relaxed, not using effort of the mind way to just, get into a nice dream state, and that's not antagonizing or uncomfortable people. But now maybe that trait is not so useful because we're so much in the mind already, so the balance has been offset. But what you're saying with Chinese medicine, if you had laser-like focus in today's society, then it'd be a lot more effective. You'd be a lot more effective at understanding what the mind is, and then being more in touch with the awareness, which is connected to that mystical state that everyone wants, whether they realise it or not, I think.
Yeah. Well, it's making me think of, so like in like a Chinese medicine practice, kind of like qigong, where you're just sitting meditation. It's extremely, I don't do it, but it's extremely painful. So much so that like every fraction of a second, it's just all you think about is giving up. It's super painful. But they say like, the masters say like that's what it's all about, because the whole thing is you resist to not giving in.
Yeah.
So when you give in, you cultivate your human side, but when you keep going, you cultivate your heavenly side, or like your immortal side.
When you're saying you resist and you don't give in, again, there's two yous we're talking about here, because is it the you think you are when you're walking around everyday life, or is actually your awareness you, which is real, which knows what it actually wants? And so every time you resist, obviously that requires awareness, because you're going against something.
Yeah, see, I can't even answer that question, because I don't have the awareness to see that they are two different things. Like, what you're saying sounds right, but I can't differentiate in my mind, like, which awareness is it? It feels like it's just one awareness. So I don't know how to differentiate it, but I get what you're saying. It's like,
the mind's not, I would argue, most likely the mind's not aware. The awareness is aware of the mind. It's just how well does the awareness direct the mind?
Yeah. So that's what.
Otherwise, it's just doing its own thing, like we said.
Yeah. So, in relation to that, they say you've become a master when your awareness is always in your body and it never leaves it, no matter what you do. So it's not just if you're in Tai Chi, but it's like, or just anywhere where you're cooking, whether you're going out. It's like no matter what you do, no matter who you meet, no matter what frustrations you have, if your awareness in your body, that's when they say you're a master. So it's like my awareness is never in my body, hardly ever. So it's extremely difficult. But I think that's the solution to what we're talking about here. It's like body awareness.
That's an interesting paradox, that the reason why, in a sense, one main reason why you're not always in your body is because you want to be a master, or because you want to get what a master has. So you're always thinking about how to get it.
Yeah. Well, I think,
so if you were in your body, you would be thinking how to get it. It's like catch-22.
Yeah. Well, it could be that. I also think it's like, because it's not just, maybe some people are born with super strong body awareness, but in Chinese medicine they say it's your like shishen. Your shishen means like your localized consciousness. So not necessarily thinking, but your localized consciousness is in your body, which requires focus. So it's like specific specific instructions is you're using your focus to bring that localized conscious in and put it to different parts of your body and move it around and stuff, which I have no experience of at all. So I say like the body awareness thing, in this case, like wanting to be a master, whatever it is, I think even when we're born, maybe we're in there when we're a baby and we just lose it when we're like a toddler, and then lose it a bit more and lose it a bit more. So maybe we are fully in there. But I think no matter who you are when you're older, like it's a real effort thing you have to do to put the localized consciousness into it.
Well, you're pretty much pure awareness. At some early stage, whether it's in the womb or definitely before the womb, you're pure awareness. And you're in the womb, you're mostly awareness, using that term awareness loosely, or consciousness. And then when you're out as a baby, you're still majoritively consciousness. But then you got this body, the fact that you've got this body to deal with, and then all these new experiences. But you're still having these new experiences, but you're not really becoming, I guess the right words, maybe cognizant of it.
Yeah.
It's still an enjoyable experience.
Yeah.
But it's not in a reflective manner yet.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I think what they say, what they say is like, basically your shen gets trapped in the outside world, which is your localized consciousness. So if you stare at a painting your Shen goes from out your body to that painting you look at. Or when you're on your phone, your Shen is on the phone. So I was like, the movie Fight Club, when I understood that principle, I looked back at the movie Fight Club, I was like, oh, that movie makes so much sense now, because he's like, he goes to sleep, and then Tyler gets up and he does all these different things. If you look at that from like a psychological standpoint, he's like, oh, he's repressed, something else is, coming out to try and balance out his psyche, which is still cool. When you understand the Chinese medicine thing, you're like, oh no, actually, his Shen is going out, and it's taken, like, his Shen has got so lost, he's got no reference point of his Shen, of who he is, that it's literally gone out and is doing.
Yeah, because he was a cat to his Shen, so his Shen said, "Fuck you."
Yeah, so it went out
You're not
exploring.
doing here what you're not acting in congruence with reality or fun or happiness or growth. So he says, "Fuck you, I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do anyway. I gave you plenty of chances, and you just stayed in your safety, in your security. You didn't take any risks, and you bought what the mainstream culture or consciousness is telling you."
Yeah.
So let's tie this in in case anyone ever watches this. Let's tie this in real practical. It was a Chinese medicine podcast. So we've identified the problem. Problem is we want the mystical, we want the fun, the enjoyment, etc. Most of we've tried our best doing it in the ways we know, like wanting it more, thinking about how to do it, thinking that this thing or that thing will bring us happiness. Realizing now the futility of that, how does Chinese medicine help you get there?
Yeah.
Where does it succeed where our old approaches, or even meditation, if we try meditation, that doesn't work? Where does Chinese medicine come in?
Yeah, so this is where I think Chinese medicine just starts to rule, because it's designed by masters. It's designed by people who have used these principles to transcend the human part of themselves, essentially, and cultivate the heavily immortal part of themselves. So within every system that you use in Chinese medicine, it's behind this principle of evolution, essentially. So for whatever reason, however they discovered the meridians and everything else, it doesn't really matter, because that in itself is like extremely beneficial. But behind every approach in Chinese medicine is instilled the principle of instilling evolution in someone. And it's a heavily body, it's not an isolated practice, which you can talk about, I'm sure you know more than me. It's not just you speak psychology for words, or you massage a body for the body. It's whatever you're doing, whether it's therapy with mouth, or it's acupuncture, or it's massage, it's all integrated into the body to get that body awareness in there, to bring that Shen back in. So I think that is like that. And I think that is the most important thing, because when you look right now, all these screens, like, our Shen is totally lost and trapped. And that's going to be the biggest thing, that our Shen not being in our body, not being in our home where it's supposed to be. And I think Chinese medicine, like Ayurvedic medicine, is going to be one of the few things that has the capabilities and has the diagnostic requirements to see what's going wrong with that person, and then to bring it back in, which Western medicine obviously will not be able to do, because it doesn't even know what a Shen is or what the problem is. So I think that's what the benefits of Chinese medicine.
Yeah, so there's a few assumptions there, or premises, is that Shen is spirit, is intelligence. In herbs, even though we think of it as biological material, it's nature, and it's got its own intelligence, and then that's fused with Chinese wisdom intelligence. Acupuncture has intelligence behind it, not as in an intellectual way we think of it.
Yeah.
There's intelligence there. So what you're saying is that the way forward is to become more intelligent, but we're not talking about more intelligent like we can, for mathematics or for science or something like that. That's actually not going to get you, very far unless you take talking about that rigorous aspect of science. testing assumptions about life and all that kind of thing. That's only a small part. What you're talking about is basically you want to become more intelligent. Intelligence, as in intelligence, like equivalating to consciousness.
Yeah, that's probably a good way of putting it, because it's like what you're essentially doing is you're training your intelligence to be used, to not have it like just meandering, wandering off, and like of not being of any use. So it's like you're bringing it in, so to use it rather than wasting it.
To use it, yeah. So, still, how does Chinese medicine help, really practically?
Yeah, it brings all the methodologies, all the approaches bring the body awareness back into you.
Yeah.
So it builds the body, because you have to look at why is the Shen getting trapped. It's like, right, in the first place, obviously there's a variety of reasons, but if you had super strong kidneys, you had super strong willpower, like I'm talking about really strong, like it almost wouldn't matter what you do, your Shen is probably not going to get trapped. I don't know, maybe you get in a bad run of luck, but because your body awareness is so strong that you'd be able to bring it back and then utilize it for whatever it needs to be. But yeah, all those different things, like, are you living your purpose? I don't know. Why do you feel like someone would lose track of their Shen or have it get entangled in external?
That's also the yin yang. You can apply yin yang to everything, but you could also look at the mind, consciousness, awareness, and growth. You know, yin yang, the mind being, you could look at it as the dark side, although it's not that simple, because it's actually, we need our intellect at least, maybe not our mind in the sense that we think we need it. So that's the yin yang, the two opposing forces, and maybe that's why it's seeming so hard to evolve right now, is there are all these forces, we're not aware of them, but they're opposing each other. And it takes a lot of momentum if you've got this repressive force moving against your impulse for growth.
Yeah.
And that's where you get the growth, isn't it? When yin yang's balanced, isn't it? You're not getting it when you're fully yanging on a deep fundamental level. You're not getting it when everything's really yang hot, you know, like hot like the sun, or what's, you know, all those yang things. And you're not getting on the opposing side of the spectrum, those absolutes. You're getting it when all these things are in balance.
Yeah. Yeah.
So something happens when your chi, your energy, is balanced, where suddenly that information becomes available to your consciousness.
Yeah.
I mean, what an enjoyable experience fundamentally is it's access to new types of information in probably ever increasing quantities.
Say that again.
When you're having a growth experience, having a mystical experience, what it is, we're not talking about pleasure, we're talking about things beyond pleasure. That's access to new information. That's intelligence.
Going into the new.
Going to the new, yeah, but so I'm connecting what we're going after. What's happening when we finally have that experience is the yin and yang are balanced. And then when you think about, when you have a mystical experience, your preconceptions are gone, the mind's offline, suddenly there's all this information flying in.
Yeah. Do you feel like the information doesn't normally flow in because our mind is like so active?
Yeah, that's one reason.
Yeah.
But your mind can still be active if you've got enough chi pushing. Your mind can still be really active and you can still be having good experiences, okay, if there's enough chi coming through. Because I can be in tree posture. If it's a really good one, I'm still a hell of a lot better than I would be sitting down watching TV. I'm still getting it, and that's probably the difference between a lot of meditations and the body-based practices.
Yeah.
Embodied practice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So chi, just quickly, the rough Western translation of chi is energy, consciousness, and intelligence, I think, is it?
Yeah, like information, consciousness, energy, basically everything.
Yeah, and that's the fundamental premise of everything Chinese medicine operates on, right? That's the mechanism of action.
Chi, yeah. It's the mediator, probably. So that's a good word, I don't know.
Yeah. So, bring it back to the practical level, you want to have those experience. What you're doing is not working. What's 3 things you can do that will take you onto that path really noticeably and significantly? You start doing these things. Okay, now I'm gaining access to those higher states of awareness.
Yeah, you have to do something which shakes you out of the normal state of consciousness you're in. And I think, some like discipline-based practice where you have to focus the mind or center the mind. So like tree, standing posture, Jang. I think that's like, if everyone did that, like the world would change. It's incredible. Just tree. It's it's amazing. Just standing there. So that, 2 other things. Yeah, well, and
if their body's so weak, tree, they're going to struggle to get a lot out of tree.
No, well, maybe, but my experiences is, because when my body was like broken from a couple of years ago from just doing meditation, nothing else at all, I was like, and then I tried a bit of tree meditation, and like literally like 30 seconds in, my legs were started to shake. Like that's how bad. I like willed myself to like half an hour, but that was a struggle. But after that, I felt like the best I'd felt in like 3 years. I was doing all this meditation.
Yeah.
Just from one 30-minute session compared to 3 years, and it made me that much better. So I think even the littlest thing you can do is still good, because it's still building your chi in your legs, it's still building your blood, it's still centering you. So I think any of whatever level you can do it at, I think is beneficial.
Yeah, that's true. That makes sense. So number 1 is get a body-based practice, whether it's standing tree, Zenzong, whatever you want to call it, from the Tai Chi or China traditions or yoga. In the West, we need the body-based practice. You need to embody. You need that information to be embodied. Otherwise, it's just going to be, you're going to be in La La Land all the time, and La La Land might not be good La La Land.
It's such a problem, yeah.
So you wanna get back into your bodies, number 1. Then you'll notice a big difference. What's number 2?
Number 2, well, I have to think about it more, but my first answer would be like Chinese herbs. Because where everyone's minds are at right now, where everyone's chi is at right now with all the like pandemic shit, like people are just gonna, I don't know how people are gonna do it without stuff like herbs. Maybe like some miraculous, maybe stem cells you get like super cheaper, or there's some like new crazy drug AI invents which is actually like good. But I don't even see that. Like maybe stem cells all of a sudden just get super cheap. But other than that, I feel like if you're not like taking Chinese herbs or something like that, like Ayurvedic herbs, I don't know, you're just gonna struggle, because when you shit hits the fan, what are you going to do? Maybe if you get super hard into a body-based practice, that could fix it. But even then, without that, you'll need something to recenter your energy. You'll need something to like bring your Shen back into your body. You'll need something to build your willpower, or to sort out your like psycho-emotional stuff when nothing else is working. So that's the best thing. One of the best things I find about herbs is if you're in a really rough place where you're just feeling like for ages, I've got discipline or whatever, I'm doing everything right, and you still feel like crappy because you don't know whether you're progressing or not. It's like just the fact that you're taking herbs, it's peaceful because you know shit's getting better. Well, at least I do. Maybe if you haven't taken them before, you won't know that.
Yeah.
But it's like, I don't know.
So number one, not in particular, number 1, saying a standing practice. Start off with 2 minutes, maybe in 1, maybe day 3, 5. Here, common thread is you feel you're connecting to information. You have all the physical sensations.
Yeah.
You have all the physical sensations, and then what you're doing is to connect it to the paradigm is you're gaining access to information, but you don't look for it. It's concentrating on your breathing, or not even concentrating, just feeling your breath, or feeling your feet. And then number 2.
That's pretty good.
And I can already feel the chi running through me right now and connecting my body up and going through blockages, and I immediately feel better just from that. Number 2, again, connecting to the information through the standing posture. Number 2, the herbs, again, information in there, but you're not even moving. You're getting your herbs, whatever they are, have them with some hot water, and then immediately you got all that information from the plants, which nature is an intelligence. Immediately you get that, and they're designed and put together, formulated to work with each other in combination with exactly what you need through thousands of years of evolution of Chinese medicine. That's number 2. What's number 3?
Yeah, I just want to think about this because I don't want to rush to it. But oh well, I guess it's just like if you're someone.
Be a rabbit.
So much smoke. Yeah, it's you have to do something which nourishes your, like, you know, the word is like soul, but take that however you want. You have to do something that's like nourishes who you really are.
Gotta be true to yourself.
True to yourself, which I am not.
Be a bunny rabbit. And I joke about being a bunny rabbit, but I was also saying that because that's how, in one way, a lot of the Qigong related to Tai Chi evolved as observing animals. Again, observing nature, and then copying those movements and seeing what changes happen inside you. How does that change the information flow within you?
Yeah.
So you're saying number 3 is to be true to yourself, to do something that you really want to do. Is that what you said?
Yeah, that you really want to do. That's a good way of putting it.
And what if you're too scared or you don't believe in yourself? How's Chinese medicine going to help you to get on that path to really have a go at it?
Well, I was like this most scared person I know, and I definitely didn't believe in myself as much as anyone. But with fear in Chinese medicine comes from weak kidneys. Chinese herbs can build your kidneys.
Yeah.
And they can build all your other organs, which are responsible for your psycho-emotional troubles. They're not getting rid of it, they help you. They can give you a little, like a boost, like a little push, and get the momentum going at the very least. And they can help you, like, see what your problems are at least. So,
and over time, from everyone I've talked to, you can really get empowered actually really quickly, and that fear will go away without you having to do anything psychologically, right? You don't have to do affirmations. You don't necessarily have to do anything. Naturally, you'll feel that your attitude to life has changed. Now, I'm just going to interrupt for a second because I've got another poll. We do like our polls on the Daoist Hermits Unite podcast. Does he embody the turtle spirit or the rabbit spirit more tonight? Let us know.
why rabbit spirit is I was going on that? So fine. This is smart.
Let us know. I'm thinking a bit more of a rabbit tonight than a turtle. So we've got 3 things people can immediately do to get into the mystical.
Yeah. Body awareness. There's body awareness focused practice, whatever that is. So your mind has to be focused on something. Then the second thing is Chinese herbs. And then the third thing is, do something you really want to do.
Yeah. And within that, take a risk. Doesn't have to be a massive risk, but take a little risk. If you don't feel like you can take a big risk to do what you want to do, start with something small. In all seriousness, walk a different way to work. Massive change because the mind's always running you on patterns. So any pattern you interrupt, you'll break that fear. And then when you feel like it, don't force yourself. Get yourself relaxed, and then maybe something bigger next time. Maybe jump off the 5 metre instead of the 2 metre.
What was your question before that? You had a question before that.
That was my poll.
Oh, no, there's a poll, but there's a question for the poll. And then you're like, oh, sorry to interrupt. So there's a question before that.
Yeah, and then we went to 3.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah.
But we're talking about fear, and so I'm just saying, and just to do what you want, you're breaking through fear, and they're very intimately related, which is probably something we can talk about next podcast.
Yeah, it's a good time to wrap it up.
Time to wrap it up. Well, in that case, we are old school. We are Daoist Hermits Unite, and we don't put our music on in the edit mode. Daoist can be lazy.
Are you going to put on the song I think you're going to put on?
I'm putting the intro outro song. What's the other one?
Angular rufus one.
I'll better say something while I'm doing this.
Oh, okay. So, consciousness, how you doing, mate? It's been a long time since we've connected, and look forward to connecting with you again. This is good video documenting for the future. So 10 years from now, when we're in our body, we'll come and look at this and go, oh my god.
Sure sounds like a fruitcake to me.
Yeah, don't focus. And here comes the intro song, the outro song. It's not bad. I'll film that. It's fine. It's not bad. Oh, ho, ho, ho.
Turn that shit
I
off.
got it. Got it.